All right, if you'd like to see a postcard that you can send out to your PCSOI, your past clients of sphere of influence, to let them know about their option to appeal their tax assessment, the tax valuation used for their tax assessment, you're in the right place. We're going to show that today in the little show and tell, and then we're going to jump into our classic meeting. So welcome to the RAMS Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeating referral closings by implementing the Referral Agent Mastery System into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, a co-founder of RAMS Agents, and my co-host is Angela Newman, a master trainer of RAMS Agents. Hello, Angela. How are you today?
Good morning, everybody. Doing great.
All right. Good to see you, Angela. Thanks for joining us today. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So I'm just going to do a quick show and tell, and then we'll jump in. I put together right now, by the way, it's May. It's the end of May, and I'm in Colorado, and our property tax valuations and assessments just came out. And so a lot of people are talking about it. And so I created a little postcard to go out to the PCSOI to let them know what that is, what's it about, and how can I help them with it if they would like to protest their tax valuation and therefore the amount of property tax they have to pay on their property. So I'm going to show you a quick postcard on that and answer any questions, and then we're going to move on. All right, so just give me a second to set that up. And here we go. Right there. Should be seeing my screen. Everybody seeing the screen? All right, cool. All right, so this was just again a quick card we put together to show the property tax question. So this is going to go out to my PCSOI, my friends, my family, my past clients, and it says, "Hey, property tax too high," and then it gives them some information. On the left is a sample of the card they would receive in the mail. So this is the actual card they get in my area that comes in the mail. It'll look exactly like this because this is what it is. This is the card. And it shows one side of the card, and then they can kind of see the back side of the card. It has some information and dates on it if they want to squint their eyes and read. This is a larger postcard. This is a 6x9. Down here in the lower left corner says, "Hey, this is not tax, financial, or legal advice. Seek professional help. The sample is a Jefferson County appeal form received in the mail in mid-May." Over here on the right, it kind of tells and it describes the process to appeal your property tax valuation. Here's how. Number one, appeal by this date with the county assessor on the form mailed. And then it says, "Hey, see the sample to the left or online." And then number two, receive a mailed update notice of determination by a date. And then number three, if you still disagree, you can submit a written appeal by a date to the County Board of Equalization with 3 comparable homes sold between January 1 and June 30th of 2024. This is going back in the past for this. And we're in 2025 right now, May of 25. If you need help finding 3 sold comparables or comps, we can help for free. Just call or text us. So that's where our little offer of help is. And also, since a lot of my folks are getting older, I say, hey, bonus, if you are 65 or older and lived in your home for 10 plus years, you may qualify for a partial property tax exemption. Contact the county assessor for the form to fill out. Then it has contact, excuse me, says free consultation, call or text Kim and Mike. So Kim and I are combining our information on this card and going out to our combined PCSOI. So we got both of us on there, and then the company name. On the back of the card, let's see if we get there. There we go. We got, hey, are you selling? Are you buying? And just a little CTA on that, a little call to action if they are. Our pictures, our phone numbers, and then, hey, we love referrals, ready to help you, your friends, your family. Then the number of years experience, number of homes sold, and the logo of the company. So that's the little card. Any questions on it? So you can do something like this in your area. Does anybody send out anything to their PCSY in their area as far as this property tax issue?
I heard Yevon say that he does that. I have not, and I've even worked with a couple of people this year to help them with their property taxes. I think it's a really great idea.
Yeah, this card, thank you. This card should hit this week, so I don't know how many people will respond to it. Either way, it's like an event. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to help people. And so I'm touching all these folks to let them know I'm available. I came up with this idea. Well, first of all, this idea has been out there a long time. So I didn't come up with the idea. But I thought about doing this because we had just recently gone on a trip and we were with some family, and the family was bringing up the fact that they had received a property valuation for the property taxes, and their valuation went up 50% in 1 year. And I said, well, I know things have gone up, but that seems like a lot. And so we started talking about it, and I actually ended up doing some little research for them and discovered that was based on a comp that did happen, but it was one of three, and the other three did not go up like that. And so I recommend they actually protest it and give them some information. I typically don't. I typically don't recommend people protest, believe it or not, just because it's usually not worth it for a very small amount, very little bit of change. It's just used to decide how to distribute tax. But in their case, it made a lot of sense to me. So anyway, I put this information out there for everybody else, and it's something to consider. All right, let's do this. Let's switch back into our typical call. And excuse me, still fighting this dumb cough. Yeah, I'm 2 weeks into this cold. It's really been nasty. All right, so who has got some good news that they would like to share? Anybody got some good news they'd like to share for the week? I was looking at blank screens there. I'm like, wow, everybody's really super busy today. I guess it was a tough day for a call coming back after the holiday. Um, anyway, anybody got any good news you'd like to share? If you do, please tell us about it.
Yesterday I got a referral from my same partner at the bank. I'm supposed to be getting the introduction email today. It's first time home buyer. That's some good news for me.
That's great news. You've received a lot of referrals from this mortgage broker, this lender, right? This banker. Um, have you ever added it up? Like how many referrals have you've gotten from this individual that have resulted in closing?
I think two.
Two? Yeah. In what period of time?
Maybe 3 years.
So like almost one a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another business model that people do is they create networks of other professionals, especially people in a related business. So like as in this case, in mortgage, um, other people say in title, um, painters, other trades or crafts people, craftsmen's people, people who are working on homes or bumping into people who are sprucing up their home to think about selling it. Uh, anyway, these networking groups we've talked about before, the BNI and so forth, but it has been a model that other people have utilized, and it seems to be working for you. That's pretty cool, Tristan.
Yeah, got to keep it going. I think he's starting to increase in his stature in the bank, and I think that's giving him more autonomy over where he can direct these leads and stuff. So he's also going to be switching into my region, um, like in the next few weeks. So we're going to start to look to do some more events and collaborate a bit more and kind of strengthen that relationship and try to expand into this market more closer to here.
That sounds great. I mean, think about it. You got two closed referrals from this fella over the last 3 years, and you guys aren't even in the same working area. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Um, Congratulations. I can't wait to hear more about that and how it develops. Um, Let me ask you another quick question because I'm sure people will want to know. You're in Canada, so you follow different rules than we do in the US. Is there a prohibition? Is there a restriction from handing a referral fee out to someone who is not licensed?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, good. Because we have that down here. Ours is called RESPA, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act 1974. But it sounds like you've got the same issue. And so everybody needs to know you cannot be handing off referral fees to somebody who hands you a piece of business that closes unless they have a real estate license. We're allowed to do it down here if they have a real estate license. Can you do it up in Canada if they have a real estate license?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it sounds like we're following very similar rules, probably just a slightly different law. But I want everybody to know that because throughout my whole career, people always come up with schemes on how they can give something to someone, something of value to someone by getting a referral, and that's a big mistake. Don't do that. But you can hand back forth referrals to one another. Uh, you typically can do beneficial things for one another as long as it's not tied to a closing. Like you can invite them to your events, they invite you to your events. You can do co-marketing and so forth. Anyway, check with your broker, check with your legal advisor, your board of realtors, et cetera, if you're going to go down that path to make sure you're complying with your local rules and laws. But it is a really cool area of business. And again, typically it's just the referral back and forth is the benefit each party, and pretty neat arrangement. Thank you for sharing, Tristan.
Yeah, no sweat.
All right, cool. Anybody else got some good news they'd like to share?
I can jump in, Angela. I've been on the phone a little bit here, just in our meeting. So, my good news is that we did get a house under contract that I'm representing the buyers for. So it's new construction. We've had a good run with looking at a lot of different properties and got it all handled on Friday afternoon late. And now we're handling some earnest money and law firm that's going to be holding that. So that's all good news. It's been a busy weekend.
That's
Way to go,
fantastic.
Blake.
Congratulations, Blake. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
What did you learn about new construction? Like anything different than because this is your first new construction, yes?
It is my first new construction. Yeah. So this, because it was not complete, we're still in progress on the construction. Uh, it made it a little bit different. I used a different form. My state forms there is a separate form for new construction. That's that's a more appropriate form for what we were doing. And so that in that form includes a new builder's 1 year warranty, which is not a requirement in the state. So the builder can reject that, but it is part of the form. It's not a requirement to provide, but certainly advised. So that was something different, handling that, and just there was just different boxes to check and different things to review. Yeah, new construction. We also had a few decoration items that the buyers are going to be able to select. They're selecting their countertops and some paint. So that's pretty cool. And they're getting to do that on a timeline. And I think the builder has been the seller has been very cooperative, and it's clear that they want to make it a good experience for them because we didn't know um, that we were going to be selecting countertops. And yesterday, which is a holiday in the US, I got a call from the listing agent, and he said, "Hey, the builder, there was some mix up on their countertops. They were going to a different property, so your people can still pick countertops if they would like to. We know they're picking the paint, so maybe they'd like to pick the countertops." So we scrambled. He went and took pictures for me, texted me some pictures of the options available, and we got it all decided yesterday. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
You're muted, Mike.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Is this a large builder in your area or a smaller builder in your area?
Small builder.
How many homes do they create build a year?
That's a great question. I do not know, but it's not a lot. I can tell you that because I'm only aware of just a handful that they've even got going.
Is it a spot lot? So like it's a neighborhood that's already built out and it's just kind of an empty lot and they're just doing an infill?
No, they have several going on in this neighborhood, which is very helpful for them and for us actually, because their crew is working on several right in that area. They have maybe 3 or 4 lots going in that neighborhood.
That's good. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, that's a neat experience, and it sounds like you're getting along with the builder. Um, it's really interesting to me that you have a standard contract in your state. We don't have that for new construction here, so I think that's really sharp and creative. Um, One of the things that, as far as a business opportunity, um, sounds like you're having a good relationship with this builder, and I would continue to do that and try to figure out as you're working through this process, who is the actual owner of the company and the builder themselves, the developer. Well, there's a builder and a developer, but these are people that are going to be very valuable for you to be connecting with in the future as you move along. As we've talked about before, you're starting to list land, and these people are going to want to know about that land and the potential to develop. So all these little connections, you want to create these databases. I assume you've already put them in your database and you've got them labeled in your. In the old days, we had the little Rolodex, right? Now it's all electronic, but in your database of people to make that connection. Is that true?
No, I mean, not with the seller yet. I haven't met the seller or had any conversation with them because I'm dealing with their agent, who is a family member. It is a family operation. This guy's, I think it's his uncle and aunt that are the builders, and he is the agent. So he's a nephew, evidently, from what he was saying something about his uncle, the builder. So anyway, and it's a family name that I am aware of because in this small community where they operate, smaller community, they're not in Chattanooga, they're in a smaller town. Um, their family name is attached to a car dealership as well. So they are good business people and evidently are now, or I don't know how long they've been builders, but they were car dealers before they were builders. I do know that. But anyway, uh, I am glad to be making this relationship with this agent who is in the family business, and hopefully I will be making a relationship with his uncle and aunt as well.
So look for those opportunities. When you meet these folks, you may end up meeting them at some point along the line, one of the walkthroughs, maybe at the closing. You don't know, but keep your mind open to that it's not
Yeah.
just this one transaction. It could be a future a relationship with a lot of transactions. The other question I have for you real fast is, were there any incentives? Were there any incentives in this transaction? Did the builder offer any incentives to the buyer?
The builder did not offer any. We requested some and got some, but did not, there was no offer. Yeah, they were not marketing it with special financing or special incentives, anything like that.
Yeah, I've just heard a lot of that around the country right now. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious if that was happening there.
yeah. And it is happening with a lot of our larger builders. We've got D.R. Horton building in Chattanooga, and that's really the only tract builder that's in town. But even the other builders that are local, that are larger, are offering incentives. Exactly, like you said, either an interest buy down or in some cases, pretty large credits for things, pretty significant incentives.
Sweet. Good job, Blake. That's great news. Anybody got any questions for Blake?
These are the same buyers you were working with for a while, the referral from their parents?
That's right. From well, no, this referral is actually from my state broker in Georgia, and she was able to refer these buyers to me, and so I've known them for about 2 or 3 weeks. I guess 3 weeks now. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
fast
muted, Mike.
friends. That's awesome. All right, Blake, good job. Thank you for sharing. Angela, you got some good news for us?
I do. So I believe that it was Thursday that I got a call from another Epic agent who asked if I could see if I could help this family that's here in the Houston area. And so Friday I went and met with them. Today I am facilitating the contract for both parties, for the buyer and the seller. So they came to an agreement. The buyer, at no fault to his own, went online and pulled a contract off the internet and presented it to the family. And the family was like, this doesn't look quite right. We need help. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Um, that's kind of exciting. So you're going to be a facilitator on that one. Is that what they call it there? A facilitator? I'm trying to remember.
They don't. That's what I've called it in the past. In Texas, it's interesting. You cannot be just a pure transaction broker. You have to represent one party, and then the other party, you act as an intermediary. So, yeah, I will be linked to the seller since they're the ones that called me, and then the buyer will be an intermediary.
Interesting. Intermediary. Okay. And so when you're either intermediary for one, you don't have to be an intermediary for the other. This is Texas, by the way, everybody who's listening. In the
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too complicated into it because I'm working with my broker here on this. It's a little bit complicated. I don't want to say, I don't want
We'll leave it
anybody to
alone for you and your
go
broker.
off of me as a, but yeah, I'm working with my broker to make sure that I have all the proper paperwork filled out for it. So it's my first time to do it here.
Well, I'm going to point something out. I think it's kind of interesting. We just heard from Tristan and Blake and Angela, and all are working a transaction right now that was referred to them. Y'all pick up on that? Kind of wild, huh? Yeah. Repeat a referral. Yeah.
That sounds like a RAMS kind of program, doesn't it?
That's right. Good job. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. You guys are doing a great job. When people are referring you business, that's a compliment to you. People are seeing you as a professional and an expert and have enough trust to refer people over to you to get your help. So kudos to all of you for getting people to see you that way. That's awesome. All right. So thank you, Angela. Thank you for sharing and good job with that and good luck. And thank you for saving me from asking you all the questions about Texas law. I'm too curious about things, but it doesn't apply to most people. So, all right. So let's do this. Let's move into another phase of our call. What do you need help with? Right. This is our production call. How do you sell more homes? Questions you have, challenges you're running into, successes you'd like to share. What do we got here for production that you would like us to address?
So yesterday, I think I made a big step forward in my career as I'm realizing the importance of not just the prospecting aspect, but more importantly, the lead follow-up and relying on like CRM and having systems in play. So that was my big aha yesterday, like a big breakthrough for me, realizing like, okay, I'm doing the hard part, but the nurturing aspect of like taking care of these leads, I'm dropping the ball a bit. So it's not really a question, just more so, I guess, a realization.
Tell us more about that, Tristan. So you had a realization, well, this is what I heard you say, is you had a realization that follow-up is important. And did it happen for a reason that you came to that realization? Did you put some follow-up in place? Like, tell us more about what you mean there.
Um, I think I was just realizing like I wasn't doing a lot of the small things, or like in terms of tracking my stats, or like tracking my progress towards my goals in terms of how many houses I want to sell. So I was like, okay, I got to get these things together. But once I did that, I just started thinking of like the bigger picture, and like, so then I was looking at my systems of like my emails and stuff, and I was realizing the all of the leads that I had gathered maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I was door knocking, my script wasn't as good. So I wasn't even collecting those emails. So I'm thinking I'm like nurturing these leads, sending out these emails every month. But the people that I'm meeting door knocking, most of them, they're not even, I don't even have their emails. So it's like I haven't been in touch with them at all. So I was like, oh no. So then I started researching and like seeing, okay, this person still is here, this person still is here. Ah man, this guy sold and he bought there. It's like, ah. So I was just realizing like, okay, even the people that I met with my old script, it was asking like when they planned on move. Then some people would say 2 years or 3 years. And lo and behold, like now it's 2 years later, 3 years later, like these people from when I first met, that now was the time where they said they'd be looking to sell. So I just started to put together a list of like their names, little notes, and their address. And then today I'm just gonna go and knock on their door. And for the ones that don't have their email, collect their email and see where they're at with their plans.
I really like that you have enough courage to go back and circle back around and strike up that conversation again at the door. Um, you've got a lot of strength and again courageousness, uh, Tristan. And I want us to make sure that you continue to capitalize on that. That's one of your strengths. A lot of people in the same situation be like, "Oh, I didn't get it the first time, so I'm not going to get it." Yeah, they just kind of would quit. You're willing to go out there and say, "Oh, okay, well, I didn't get it the first time. Let's go back and talk again." Who knows? It might be a great conversation anyway. Might learn something new. Might be fun. That's really strong. And to see that that big picture of time, that these opportunities they develop, like the few that you missed, that's usually a good hard school knock lesson for us when we miss one. We learn a lot more from when we mess up, when we have pain than from the pleasure. So good job recognizing that and not just falling apart, but going, hey, okay, so now moving forward, I'm going to adjust. Right? It's all about adjusting as we're moving forward. So good job, Tristan. I like it. I like it. It's a great idea. And it also sounds like you're putting in more of a bigger picture, a longer term follow-up system on how you're going to do it. You recognized what you need to follow up with them, this email, right? And you need to capture it as you're moving forward.
Yeah.
Cool. I like how you're having greater conversations at the door, right? The more you do something, the stronger you get. Good
Yeah,
job.
it's true.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you for sharing.
No,
And do you have any questions for us, Tristan, on that, or was it just that you want to bring that up to our attention?
no questions. It's just a matter of doing the work of the tediousness of the CRM and getting everything in order. So just no question, just a realization, I guess.
Yeah, just the only things I'll say on that is it's great that you're using the CRM or some kind of tracking mechanism for the database, and CRM is designed to do that. Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't create some massive monster that you can't control. Just keep it simple. A simple system will get used, right? A simple system will get implemented. So just
Got
keep
it.
it simple.
Okay, will do.
Good man. All right. Anybody else have any questions, issues, comments on production that you're bumping into that you would like some assistance with, or get everybody's opinion, or just something you'd like to share? Here we are.
Well, just in response to what Tristan shared, we've seen it true with the PCSOI, but I believe it's true with our leads and generation and follow-up too. But when we barely do anything with our PCSOI, as long as we're doing something, we usually get something. But we've seen that we can increase the percentage of, what do you call it, of my brain
Conversion.
slipped. Conversion, yes. We can increase that by doing things better, more efficiently, improving, but we have to start somewhere. And the same thing with our lead follow-up and nurturing. It's the same thing. As long as we're doing something, and then we can keep making it better, making our emails better, making branding and marketing to them in different ways, and then adding to it, but keeping it simple, because if we just plan to do this everything all at once, it'll be too overwhelming to implement it. But yeah, so I'm excited that see how that unfolds. And that's what I'm working on too myself. So I completely agree that we can always do things a little bit better, and that there's room to improve. That's exciting. If we're having success now, just imagine when we improve it.
Let's jump into that just a little bit more. Tristan, on this follow-up system that you're putting together, what exactly do you intend to do?
So like my monthly emails is like something that I want to continue doing in terms of staying in their mind. But also like as I'm going through my stuff and like some of my notes, I'm realizing I like, for example, I met the gentleman last week that had a recent newborn, and you said to get him a baby book. And I was like, man, that's like a really cool thing, because I was looking at it from his perspective. If I was in his shoes, I would be thinking like, wow, this guy's different, like this guy's something else. Like he went and got me, like he listened to what I was saying. And so I was just thinking like of some of the previous conversations that I had, and there's some nice things that I can do for some of those people. So those are some stuff I want to do.
That's awesome, Tristan. That yeah, anytime you can personalize the touch, the better. So in this case, someone just had a newborn, you're going to give them a newborn book. I mean, that's very personalized to that situation and that point in time. 5 years from now, that book won't help them, but right now it will. And it showed that you listened to what was the situation beyond just the real estate. Excuse me. You said you're doing a monthly email. That's great. A couple ideas there. One, you may want to increase the email to weekly. There are people out there that are doing follow-up with a weekly email, and you're thinking, well, if I do too many, people will unsubscribe. Yep, they will. However, you're going to get more people that get involved with you and want to do more business. So when I was doing my, when I've done the MMA over the years, I originally started with, so that's Mastermind Agent. I originally started with putting out, I think it was every other, twice a month emails, because I didn't want people to unsubscribe. And then I finally got to weekly, and things improved with that side of what I was doing. And I got to the point where I was doing daily, and people just love daily. They want to be involved. The people that want to be involved want to be involved. They want to connect. So anyway, think about going maybe weekly on your emails. That's one idea. There are people out there doing that, and they're doing it successfully. The other thing is you can add a second element. So if you stay with once a month on the email, you could add once a month on a postcard, and you could alternate it so they're like 2 weeks apart. So you're touching people twice a month. The reason that you're wanting to do more touches is because you don't know what day that person's going to wake up and say, I'm ready to move. And you want to be around when they say that.
All right.
The other thing you could do is say a social media touch, right? So you could come in, if you have their contact information on social media, you're connected to them somehow. Or you could even create, if you have their email address, you can create a customized audience, and you can reach out. You can do paid marketing where a message will go to them on your command, on your date when you want it to go out, and it'll be a little message saying, "Hey, remember me? I'm Tristan." That could be your third contact. Now you got one contact every 10 days, right? You've got the email, you got the mail, and you got this social media contact.
Yeah, that's a great idea because with a lot of these people that I'm meeting at the door, I can search them on social media and add them into my network on there. So that's something I didn't think of. It's a good idea.
You bet. And as you know from RAMS, there's the other element you can add is a phone call, and you have the power to add a door knock in there, right? And you can do that phone call or door knock monthly or quarterly, excuse me, really based on their situation. What's their situation? What's their timing? How far out are they? Whatever they tell you, you cut in half, by the way. So if they say they're 6 months out, they're probably 3 months out. You don't want to, you want to give more contact, not less. You don't want to be late to the party. It's not a party you want to be late to. Hey, nice sign in your yard. I guess I'm late. That's
True.
not a fun experience. So remember, I'll wrap this all up. The saying there's two groups of leads, or two groups that we're working with, the PCSOI at the bottom, right? And that's where we really want to have the focus on all the things we just talked about. But we can apply these same concepts to the leads above that, which are the nurture list, and they're coming in. Now we're going to spend less effort, less time, less money on that nurture list per individual than we would in the PCSOI, because the PCSOI is so valuable to us. However, we can use these principles up there. And I've talked to you all where you can find convergence with your ideas, convergence where things are coming together, and you can therefore do multiple things with one movement. Okay. Here's another great example of it. So for instance, your email could be something you send to your PCSOI, and it's now something you send to your nurture. So you only have to make one email. It's going out to two different groups. That makes sense? And then
Yeah.
you also are looking for those kind of things then with the mail piece that you send out, or the social media piece that you send out. Does that make sense? And so
Yeah.
some people say, well, are you combining all of them? You could, okay, but you may not want to. For instance, the mail may, at some point, the mail may get too expensive for you in this process to that second group. The second group, if you have 3,000 people in there now, mailing to them every month may be too much. Although if your business has grown, it may be fantastic. You may have no problem spending that little extra cash. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, perfectly. I think I was kind of already doing that, but to be more conscious about it definitely will yield better results.
The whole idea
Because
is
even,
simplify, so you do it.
okay,
I'd rather see you just do one of those things, do it consistently, than overcomplicate it and end up not doing anything.
got you. Okay.
I'll give you another good example. So I do a lot of geofarm. I've done a lot of geofarming over the years. I'm actually starting to put that in place. Surprise, because that's my nature. And so for instance, now I've got a list of empty nesters, and so I'm calling them, and now I'm starting to direct mail to them. Well, the leads that I'm getting from there, I have a built-in follow-up system by the fact that because they're in this small list, I'm mailing to them already once a month, and I'm calling out to them. My goal is once a month, once every couple months, depending on how far I get on my sequence. I'm automatically got my follow-up system built in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a shotgun approach. You can take the rifle approach to just go directly to the people that you have the strong leads with, and that's the least expensive.
Okay. Okay. Kind of what I'm doing with the door knocking, I guess, by going back to their door.
Yeah, like if you were knocking the same area over and over and over again, yep, that's exactly right. It's a built-in follow-up system, isn't it?
Right.
And you'll remember the doors. Oh yeah, I talked to those people the other day. Again, a lot of people will walk by, but Tristan's not. He's going to walk up and go, "Hey, remember me? We talked last week or we talked last month. I just wanted to check in on you, see how you're doing." Wow, there's nothing stronger than that. Face-to-face contact, there's nothing stronger. You've got a superpower in that area that other people don't have and they're scared of. That's why it's your strength and their kryptonite.
All right, I'm on it. Thank you, Mike.
You bet. You bet, Tristan. Anybody else have any comments on follow-up systems?
I just have a comment. I was just thinking this as an encouragement for Tristan. Before I was a realtor, I was in advertising sales for a couple of decades, more than that actually. But anyway, worked at some TV stations here in town, and the experience, I was a senior sales representative over the time there. And what I would always tell the new guys that would come on board, I would tell them, you, they would get discouraged because they thought everything was already, every account was already taken. All the good accounts are already taken. You guys who've been here already have them. And I said, no, what's going to happen is you're going to come walking in here with some contract from a potential advertiser that we've all gone to their door. We've all gone and talked to them or tried to. And yet, or maybe we've written them off because they weren't ready for us and they just said, no, we're not interested, go away, all that. And somebody's going to walk in and get that contract. And without fail, that would happen. The new guys who didn't know any better, that's kind of the way I would tell them, it's because you haven't already programmed your mind to think, I can't get any results by continuing to do this. Whereas the rest of us had already been down that road. And so the new guy would always come in with somebody I'd called on or somebody else had already called on, and they'd have a contract. So
Mm,
anyway, I guess that's the analogy is it's the same as you continuing to go back to doors that even people said, no, I'm not interested, go away. I mean, you don't have to go to the ones that said go away, but but that follow-up is key because you're going to surprise yourself. There's going to be somebody out there that you thought was a dead end, and they're going to be, hey, today's the day. I'm so glad you showed up today, and it'll happen. I know it will.
yeah, I think you're right. Thanks, Blake.
Blake's statement is really powerful, and Blake's looking at it from this direction. Look at it from the other direction. Okay, so Blake was looking at it from the salesperson side, and that's really important because that's who we are. But look at it from the customer side. The reason that the new person was able to get it was a thing called timing. Timing. This customer just woke up that day and said, I need to do X. I need to advertise. In this case, I need to advertise on the television or the radio. They woke up today and said that. Not the salesperson saying it's a day I want to find somebody who wants to advertise. It was the customer saying, today I want to advertise. And then here comes in this little newbie who says, hey, you want to advertise? And they go, yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. That's amazing that you're right here, right now. Boom, they sign a contract. Same thing in our business. Okay. You knocked on the door one day and said, hey, you want to sell their house? And they go, nah, go away. And then you just have enough strength to go back a month later and go, hey, do you want to sell your house today? I go, yeah, I woke up this morning. I want to sell my house. It's amazing you're here. Right? Because last month it wasn't on their mind and today it is. And that's the power of the door knock. That's the power of the email. That's the power of the social media touch. That's the power of the phone call touch. All these touches are because we don't know when they're going to wake up and go, hey, I'm ready to move. We got to be there. We got to be available. That's why we have to create this frequency into our follow-up systems.
Makes sense. I had a quick question for Angela. Angela, I know you said you were working on like some of your system stuff, and I was just thinking about it now because you're so like well organized and like so on point and experienced too with like running a large organization. So I was just curious, like, what is it that you still, I guess, need to work on? I figured all your things would be dialed and running like a well-oiled machine at this point.
Well, so, what I helped build over the last 17 years with that brokerage took 17 years to build. And so it's very humbling to go out on your own and you think, wow, I know it all. I know what to do. I know what works and what doesn't work. But it's humbling to get those systems back in place when you're still trying to sell and you're still going and
Mm.
working on other projects and other dreams, and you can't just start off day one having all those systems back into place. So that's where I'm at. Is I'm just happy to get right now my monthly email sent out, but now I'm working towards sending a weekly email. Um, and I'm actually, after this call, meeting with a virtual assistant to help me with a couple of those things. Like, I meet a lot of people, and my goal is to meet new people and build relationships. But I'm not that great at adding them to my CRM and keeping that updated, and some of those tasks that will allow me to do more of the, like, meetings in person, writing contracts, and doing some of the bigger stuff. So even with the events, it's taking me a while to get all those little pieces back into place, because I did events for a large group for a long time, but it took years to get all those little pieces into place. And I had people helping me. I had assistants and coworkers that helped me with it. And it's a
Yeah.
lot different when you're by yourself. I have Patty now, so that helps. We do a lot of stuff together. But yeah,
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that insight. Sometimes we get overwhelmed because we're thinking, man, this is taking forever, or oh man, I still don't have my systems in place. But it's I guess encouraging to realize that it's a never ending thing. You're always going to be improving and refining and making things better. So thanks for sharing your insights there.
you're welcome. Yeah.
Good job. Good job, everyone. All right. Well, this was a good production call. This is the end of our production call. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to move into our huddle for the day. The huddle, we have two questions for you. Number one question, what was the number one thing you did last business day to move your business forward? And what is the number one thing you're going to do today to move your business forward? Who would like to start?
I'll start if that's okay. Number one thing yesterday was going through my old lead book and following up to make sure I had all of the leads in my CRM and seeing what's going on with them and updating their info in the software and identifying who I need to go back and speak with. Today, I'm going to work through my second book and do the same thing and hopefully finish in time to get out there and start working through this list and reconnecting with these people and getting more of their information and finding out when they're ready to sell if they are ready.
Show me that book. What did you just have up there?
It's my book. I like write my stats of the knocks and the answers, and then if I get like a lead, I'll write like their name, a little bit about them and stuff, their address. And I'm noticing like now that I'm more experienced, my notes are more detailed and like I'm writing more information, which is helping me better remember the people or like remember things that I can call back to when I meet with them and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like my system.
Is that book, are you bringing that to the door with you and then you're making your
Yeah, it's
notes?
pretty good. It's because like when it's raining, I can like carry it like this so like my notes don't get wet. But when it's not raining, I just keep it like this so it's a bit faster and I could just check or make my next mark when I'm hit my next door and stuff.
What's the
But
color of that book?
it's black.
Is that your little black book?
A lot of money in this book, Mike.
That's right. That's the money book. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's sweet. Thank you, Tristan, for sharing. And I like that you're going back through and you're cleaning up your notes and you're implementing that information into your CRM. That should be part of your process, right? But
Yeah,
there are
for
a
sure.
lot of people who've had a lot of success with a manual system, just writing it. Even a lot of the top agents I continue to talk to today, the solo agents who are selling unbelievable number of homes. like 50, 100, 150, and they're doing it just in a manual system. They like manual systems. So don't be afraid of that. If you can do it in a manual system, that's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. Good job. Good job. All right. Thanks for sharing, Tristan. Who's next?
I'll jump on. Um, I last business day was get this house under contract. So we've already talked about that. And today, I do have another prospect that had been referred to me, and I need to follow up with him because we're supposed to hopefully start looking at some houses in June for a purchase that he's hoping to make before school starts in at the beginning of August.
Awesome. Say again where that business came from.
That's a referral from one of my brokerage agents. This is another agent. This is where we were talking about. I'm the lone agent for my brokerage in this part of the state, and in the state of Georgia. I'm in the northwestern part of the state, and we do have an agent in maybe more than one, but only one that I'm aware of that's in Tennessee, just over the state line, that also is licensed in Georgia. But I live in Georgia. This is my area, and I'm very involved with the Georgia team for my brokerage.
That was going to be my next question. So are you doing some kind of weekly meeting with the Georgia agent group where
I'm
you're
not there weekly with the Georgia agent group, but I have gone to, they have some meetups where they get together at this Bahama Breeze restaurant in the north side of Atlanta. I go to that from time to time. So I meet with them and I stay in touch through just through that. I guess that's the main thing.
are you are you doing anything to promote these referrals?
No, no, but we've talked about that and I need to. I need to make it a thing where everybody knows, hey, yeah, this is where Blake lives and nobody else around here. I shouldn't necessarily say that, but I would say, hey, Blake lives in this part of the state. If you have a referral in that area,
When
Blake's the
you
guy to go to.
physically meet people, I could see you have a little map of the state with a star where you are in that northwest corner of the
It's a good
state
idea.
to help them visualize where you're at. And I'll challenge you to, because you've just mentioned, I believe, two referrals.
Yeah,
The business you just put under, and now this business are coming from inside your company.
yeah,
Uh, I'll challenge you to think about, put together a system for how can you find out who the agents are that are in your area, and number one, and number two, how you could create some kind of frequent contact with them at least once a month, where you're getting in front of them saying, "Hey, I'm your guy up here, right? I'm the agent over here. If you need to refer anybody over," uh, and the other thing about that is reciprocity. Hey, where are you at? And I like to be able to refer people to you,
right.
right? And you create that network of other agents. Again, another model that can be very big is a network of agents and doing referral business back and forth between other agents as professional real estate agents, referrals. Um, that's great. I would see if you can continue that. I believe you said that a lot of these this referral was coming from Atlanta.
Yes, yes, both of the referrals have come from the Atlanta area.
Maybe you can find all the other Epic agents. You're with the company Epic. You can find all
Yeah,
the other Epic agents down there. It may not be that big of a group as far as the numbers, and you can somehow stay in touch with them either by email or a direct mail piece or something.
right.
Social media, somehow tie in and connect with them. That I'll just wrap up with this. The thing that people do that I've heard have a lot of success with this, they'll send out like a monthly newsletter, started physically and then it went electronically, about here's how to get more real estate business. It's training. It's here's how you can get more real estate business. And by the way, I'd love your referrals, right? And I'd love to send you referrals. So um, that may be another little niche for you, right? another little avenue of business. Thanks for sharing, Blake.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Angela, what you got?
So last business day, I actually did an open house on Sunday. And I will share, and maybe like in the future, one of our calls, I can share some of the success that I've had with open houses. But are they my favorite thing to do? I don't mind them, but you know, they're usually, you think open houses are geared towards buyers, and they can be. But so this open house that I did on Sunday, um, I knew it was a holiday weekend, but I decided to go ahead and do it because there are benefits to the seller. Um, and even if it's slow or whatever. In this particular case, I also wanted to meet with the neighbor across the street that had come into the open house before. And so after the open house, I did go visit with him again. And it turns out that he is going to be selling that house. He'll be selling possibly another house, and he has 6 rental properties. And he basically said, give me a month. When I'm ready, I'm going to reach out to you. You're my girl. And I was like, okay, awesome. And I had mailed him a card after he had come into that open. I didn't get his phone number. I did find his phone number, but I didn't call him. I mailed him a card, and I thought, well, I'll just go back in person because he's older. I didn't want to be too aggressive. But when I was putting my signs out, by the way, I use branded signs with my picture on them and stuff. A guy pulled up in a truck and he said, are you a real estate agent? I said, yes. And he said, can I have your card? I'm going to share this with my family. We're thinking about selling a house. Sure. So I gave him my card. 20 minutes later, somebody called me and said, yeah, can you stop by my house? I want you to take a look at it and see how you can help me. Said, sure. So I went, and it actually turned out that he was thinking about leasing it too. So he wanted to know what it would look like to sell, but he also wanted to know, well, he didn't know that I could help him with leasing. And I said, oh, yeah, I can help you with that as well. We can lease it up. It's very similar to listing a house. We can list it for lease. And he was like, oh my gosh. And at the end, he said, you're my realtor. I'm so happy it was meant to be. We were really stressing about what we were going to do with this. So anyway, it was a good day. I thought, well, it might be a slow open, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I had the time to do it. There you go. So that was my last business day. Today I'm meeting with the buyer to sign the paperwork for that facilitation transaction.
Way to go, Angela.
Thank you.
Angela, I was just thinking so many times someone from outside might look at that, especially with the guy driving by and you're putting up your signs and say, boy, that Angela, she sure was lucky. But you know what? We get lucky when we're just doing the activity that we're supposed to be doing. You're just doing what you do, but you're doing it. You're not sitting at home. You were out doing something. You were out doing an open house. And in this case, you happen to be putting a sign in the yard. And that's huge. Just doing the activity, like with Tristan knocking doors. That's whatever the activity is, we get lucky because we're doing the work.
Yeah, I guarantee that if I would have sat at home and sat by the pool all day, I wouldn't have made any progress. So,
well, thanks for sharing that. That's an awesome story.
It is a great story. And one of the reasons that it worked, I believe, is they saw you in action. They saw you doing the work of a real estate agent, right? That's why the person stopped and said, are you a real estate agent? Right? They saw you in action doing the work. And that is a principle that people use in their marketing, is showing you in the activity of work. So a lot of people use that on social media as an example. They'll somehow show the example of them in the process of doing the work, to remind people that this is what you do. So that was awesome, Angela. Can't wait to hear more about it. Only other thought, you threw a lot at us that was pretty neat. The other story was the gentleman, I believe, who came into your open house, thinking about selling one property, maybe a second property, has 6 rental properties, but you didn't have his phone number. And that happens to us, right? Tristan was just talking about not having all the contact info. Do follow up and follow up immediately. I think you said 30 days. 30 days is like, boom, snap. That's fast. That is a fast lead. So be sure to get back in touch with that person no matter what you have to do, even if you have to knock on the door or look them up in the database and give them a call. Don't feel like you're going to be overly aggressive. Rather you be overly aggressive and he says, you're just too much. Then you turn around and he lists those 6 properties with someone else. You're like, I wish I would have been aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And I did locate his phone number. I found a cool tool, kind of like we had tried to figure out how to find somebody. And I'm going to use it in the future. It's free and it gives out a lot of information about contact information. And yeah, so every time I do it open, I'm definitely going to go by and say hi. And then as well as I have his address and phone number. So
Do you remember the name of that service you found? Was it Fast People Search?
it was a different one. It was simplecontacts.com.
Simple Contacts?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And you can put in an address, or you can put in a street, you can put in a city, and it'll like, the only thing you have to be careful of is it'll give, if you put in an address, it'll give the owners from eternity or whatever. So you kind of have to know. I looked at tax records and I was like, okay, this is his name. I pulled up, okay, this is the right name that goes with the right address, because it'll show previous people that lived there and stuff.
Nice. And you said that was a free service?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And then I'd also found one that I've used for a few searches. It's called fastpeoplesearch.com, fastpeoplesearch.com. And that also gave some free information that was surprisingly accurate. Again, these databases they have out there are just shocking, how many connections they have to people and information. All right, good. Good job. Good job, Angela. All right, so I'll wrap this up by saying that last business day I did a little bit of work on a postcard for a different group. I'll share that next week. It's actually my same concept of empty nesters, but it's a spin on something that I noticed that somebody else was doing on a letter that they were having a lot of success with, where they were getting 2 listings for every 1,000 letters mailed out. And I'll share some of that information next week. But I was working on that, putting it together. And then today I'm going to make some dials out to these empty nesters as long as I can maintain my voice. So this silly cold has been with me for 2 weeks. I want to give it back to whoever gave it to me. All right. Thank you so much for your time today and your great input today. It was great. It was fun. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
See you later.
All right.